Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today is September 6, 2022. I am Solid Blue Sister, and this is My Turn to Talk. Hey, Shelby. Welcome, welcome. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That makes me feel good. I missed doing the show too, but I was traveling. Part of it was work, part of it was fun, and part of it was checking up on a friend. But I did not miss this hot weather. It's been hot in California. Hey, Frankie, welcome. Yeah, but what is normal weather, Shelby? What is normal weather? Okay, I think I am going to stop it here. Yeah. Okay, so hey, Minnesota. Hey. I mean, seriously, Shelby. I mean, the weather has just been so. For the last couple of years, weather's just been crazy, and it's just going to get hotter. I was looking at the almanac because I'm about to restart my garden, and California is going to get hotter and hotter. It's just going to get hotter and hotter, and across the country, it's just going to get hotter and hotter. So, what does that tell you? So, anyway, today, guys, I would like to talk about shot in the back. What is a coward? And the Old West, Robert Ford and Jesse James. We all know, so some of us know the story of Robert Ford and how he shot Jesse James in the back. Do the rules of cowardice apply today? Why and why not? And I came up with this topic actually over the weekend because I was watching a Western. I do like watching Westerns, the old ones, black and white. And Robert Ford was the topic. So, back in the day, when you shot someone, and I shouldn't say back in the day, I'm going to say the Old West. If you shot someone in the back, whether that person was an outlaw and killed, 30 people, shooting them in the back was considered a coward, and you just didn't, that's just something that you just didn't do. If you were going to shoot someone, basically you were supposed to man up or woman up, and you told them to draw, and you also didn't shoot someone who wasn't wearing a gun, so now we have people who, just come up on someone, blindside them, shoot them without them knowing, or without them seeing that they're coming. Is that considered a coward? Welcome, Power Girl, and welcome, Scooter. So if we did the whole Jesse James thing, I mean, I remember growing up, and if there was a fight, first of all, people weren't pulling out guns and everything the way they're doing now. If you fought with your hands. But you have someone who, if they turn their back, the other person would hit them or push them, whatever, you know, hit them, of course, when they weren't looking. And that was considered a sucker punch. And everybody thought that the person that did it was, it's like, seriously, they were considered a coward. So, do the rules of the Old West, should they be in place today? And yes, we have, the Old West, you didn't have the rules and the regulations that we do now. But what if we did? Would things be different? Howdy, howdy, howdy. Oh, Scooter, Scooter, Scooter. Do you have a horse there with you too? That's what I live. Yep. That's what I live by. And yep. All right. Can I ask you what your horse's name is? So, guys. I mean, seriously, if we treated crimes, or we looked at the way things were done, the way they did in the Old West, would things be different? Would people, not be so ready to, kill someone because they wouldn't have the courage to just shoot you while you're looking, or, I mean, seriously. I mean, and it may seem silly, but when I was watching that show, and just so you all know, the show that I was watching over the weekend, where I got this, was Lawman. Love that show. Love the reruns. And I had seen this particular show several times, as you do with reruns. You tend to watch them over and over and over. And I just thought that it was interesting, the way everyone treated Robert Ford for killing Jesse James. I mean, there were songs, made about Robert Ford, basically that he was this killer. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, guys, I'm going back to my 1 hour format. This show will not go over an hour. I am going back to my 1 hour format. So, Robert Ford, or Bob Ford, was known as he was a killer because he was actually part of Jesse James' crew. But he was also known as a coward. When he shot Jesse James in the back, he was known as a coward. And the thing about it is, he shot Jesse James so he could get a reward, and a pardon. But what ended up happening is that the sheriff turned on him, and when he shot Jesse James, he was arrested for murder. But then he ended up being pardoned, and he was let go. I'm not sure if he got the reward or not. I do know there was a $500 reward out there, but there's some discrepancy on whether or not he got it. But Robert Ford went on, because he was also an actor, and he went on to perform. His brother went on to perform, on stage, how they shot Jesse James, which actually didn't make things better for him, because people, again, just reinforced the fact that you were a coward who shot Jesse James in the back. Welcome, Mr. A, and welcome, D-Mac. So again, and then Scooter says Charlie and Bob were both cowards. Yes, Scooter. John Russell. Yep. Yep. So I would really just like to know that if the rules of the Old West apply today, would people, and you had labels, because a lot of people, they don't like labels. Would it bother, a serial killer? And I may be stretching it or something, but would it bother a serial killer, that, you know, you're killing these unsuspecting people? I mean, you're just a coward. Or and I say this across all forms. I know I'm going to piss some people off right now, or push someone the wrong way, but you know, um, if you are a man who um, beats his wife, are you a coward? If you're a man who, or a woman who beats your children, are you a coward? If you're a woman who beats up on her husband, or a, children who beat up on their parents, are you cowards? If you're that police officer who, uses your authority to do things that you shouldn't do and are wrong, are you a coward? If you're that, gang um, banger, that is going down the street and you start shooting, or rather shooting, I'm sorry, are you a coward? Welcome, DMAC and Juju. So um, what is a coward? And to anyone over on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, welcome. So, I mean, and Scooter says coward is a good term. So should it be called something else? If you're that teacher that picks on this one particular kid just because I personally don't think that all teachers, should be teaching for whatever reasons, are you a coward? You know, um, so should you look at how things were done way back when? Would people change the way they do things? Because to me, you know, a coward is someone who, they either do things under the cover of dark, or under the cover of authority. And that authority could be law enforcement, teaching, it could be parents, because parents have authority over their children. And you do things that you shouldn't do. So, and I'm going to copy and paste this, and tell me if you guys think this is correct. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, so there we go. See, a coward is, this is from Google, a person who lacks courage in facing danger, difficulty, opposition, pain, etc. A timid or easily intimidated person, lacking courage, very fearful or timid, proceeding from an expressive of fear or timidity. Hey, Mama Bear Tracy. And let me go back up. Shelby says, I don't think all teachers should be teachers either, And Dee says, if you are a person who shoots up a school building, isn't that a coward? Yes, it is. It is. So going back to what Shelby says, and we were touching on this a little bit last week. So if you're a teacher who, for whatever reason, you chose to say, okay, I'll be that teacher with that gun, okay, and a shooter comes into the school, but for whatever reason, that teacher could not shoot, that teacher could not use that gun, is that teacher a coward? And Scooter says, sociopath is good too. Yeah, it is, for those people who go in and shoot up and shoot up schools. So is that teacher a coward? Should that teacher be considered a coward because they weren't able to pull that trigger? And DMAC, and we talked about this last week too. Cowards are bullies, or bullies are cowards. Yeah, they are. Okay, Minnesota says no. That is different. Okay, Shelby, that is different. But don't you think that there'll be at least one person? At least one person. Brina, hey, welcome back. Welcome, welcome. Don't you think that there'll be at least one person who will say that that teacher was a coward? There'll be that one person who will say that. Because for some people, and I mean, and you even have parents who, if their child is getting picked on at school, they'll tell their kid that you're a wuss or you're a coward because you didn't stand up to them, that you didn't go fight them. Now, I'm not going to fight somebody if I think I'm going to get my butt kicked, whatever. But you can stand up to them in different ways. But you have some parents who think that, so let me look at some of these. Okay, you guys are just saying hi. Okay, so and yes, there will be Shelby, and of course, that's not fair. But unfortunately, you have those labels. So what do you guys think is a true definition of a coward? Because cowards come in all different shapes, sizes, all different, what do I want to say? Uh, all different situations, and what's interesting to me is you have a lot of cowards, and even though I have never attended um, uh, someone being killed on death row, I would never want to attend anything like that. But I have heard stories, and I do believe that most of them are true. That when these people who have committed these heinous, crimes, these just, crimes that you could not even think of to do, that when it's their turn and they're walking, down that, I guess you want to say that green mile, however you want to call it, that there's some crying going on. There's some pleading. There's some, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. I think there's a lot of that going on. I consider those people cowards. I have no sympathy for them whatsoever. I consider them cowards. And Brina says, I think a coward is someone that lets fear stop them from doing what's right. Okay, but Brina, can you elaborate a little bit more? Because when you say fear that stops them from doing what's right, let's say you were being threatened, or they threaten to do harm to a member of your family or a loved one or a friend, and that fear of retaliation or fear of what someone may do, would you still consider them a coward? And Shelby says a coward is someone who don't really care that they have done what is against the law. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So and then I want to also go back to what Brina says, because what if a school age kid was on the playground or walking home, and you see some bullies picking on another classmate or something, are they a coward because they won't jump in to stop it, but instead they went and and they told someone what was happening? But are they considered a coward, even if they weren't a little kid, even if you're an adult and you see someone getting physically harmed by someone else? Are you a coward because you don't step in, but you do call 911? Let's see. Okay, you don't have to jump in right then and there. You can speak to them after the situation. Okay, are you saying? Okay, hold on. It's a tough spot to be in. Welcome, Stinga. Dee says cowards follow the crowd when they really believe something differently, maybe from fear or losing their jobs. Okay, Mama Bear says, I don't think that's a coward. At least they told someone. Okay, okay. So, Brina, when you say speak to them after the situation, are you saying speak to the bully after the situation? Stinga, watch the language. And you guys, please take note of my revised greeting or warning coming into the show. I had to address the situation privately with someone, so please take note. Um, my admins know, they will bounce you. I am not going to ask any questions, and that's it. Okay, either. Okay, so okay. And Brina, I'm not picking on you. I'm really not. I'm just trying to understand your thought process. Okay, so if if I'm picking on someone and I'm physically hurting them, or even if I'm verbally, whatever, and once it's all said and done, am I supposed to stick around while you want to talk to me? And then couldn't I want to start, you know, if I'm already in that frame of mind, couldn't I want to start swinging on you, or give you a verbal assault? Try to lash. Okay, Trina says, try to rationalize with someone who's super emotional. You won't get through anyway. Okay, so if so having said that, then am I a coward if I don't step in if someone is being physically harmed? And Stinger says yes. Okay. Um, what if that person is bigger than me? What if that person, has a weapon? If I'm not carrying a weapon or they're bigger than me, am I supposed to risk getting hurt? Can I just go and, try to get someone or call 911? And am I considered a coward because I'm not stepping in to help someone who is being physically harmed, and that other person is bigger and presumably stronger, and they may or may not have a weapon? Stingley says not a lot of people step up, but others do. Okay, Shelby says that situation, call 911. And Brian says stepping in depends on your comfort level. People are crazy, at least try to get help. Okay. All right. Because um what about those okay, so we've talked about this. Let's see. Dee says you have to figure out what kind of danger you put yourself in. If you get involved, are you risking your life, livelihood? Will there be future repercussions for you? You bring up a lot of good points, Dee. So let me go back to the Robert Ford thing. So welcome, the gay connection. Welcome, welcome. So, okay, so let me go back to the Robert Ford thing then. Okay, so we've been talking about how you should step in your comfort level, going to get someone, but is it a cowardly thing to do if you attack someone from the rear? If they don't see you coming, are you a coward? Is it a cowardly thing to do? And again, remember, Robert Ford shot Jesse James. Not only, in fact, he didn't even. I keep saying he shot him in the back. He actually shot him in the back of the head. And Jesse James, was this bad person. Robert Ford was also a bad person. He was an outlaw. He ran with Jesse James. But if we were to shoot a serial killer or a pedophile or just a really bad person, if we were to just go up to them and shoot them in the back of the head, or someone who was on the FBI's most wanted list, or a terrorist or something like that, is that a good thing? Because we got rid of this horrible person? Is that a good thing? And should society pat us on the back? Okay, Brandon says yes, 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 yes. Okay, Jay says depends. Jesse was terrible. Okay, and Stinger says I call it cleansing. Okay, so we've cleansed. We've shot this person. This person's gone, dead, whatever. Should you be arrested for murder? And you can't say it was self-defense because this person wasn't coming after you. Technically, they were no threat. They were a possible future threat to someone else, but to you, according to our laws now, should you be, considered and arrested for murder? Whereas back in the old West, people may call you a coward, but you would have walked away. And Brina says it was a public service, and Shelby is agreeing with Brina. Okay, all right, so it was a public service, but again, Brina, should you, I, or whomever get arrested for murder because we shot someone in the back, stabbed them, whatever, we killed them in the back, they were not a threat? Should we get arrested? Okay, and Gay says accept the consequences of your actions. Okay, so let's say welcome Bob. So let's say that you go to trial. Okay, what do you think the chances are that you would have a jury who would feel sorry for you, who felt that, like you all said, it was a public service announcement, service announcement. It was a public service. It was cleansing. Would you convict that person for murder, even though they killed this pedophile, even though they killed this serial killer or this serial rapist? Or that mom or dad who did horrific things to their child and that child died, and you killed that person? but you did it from behind and they were no threat to you, would you let that person off if you were on the jury? Anybody? Character needs to be considered for sure. Okay, so character of the person that you killed or your character, the person who did the killing? Okay, Jay says, I have no qualms about removing evil. Okay, but yeah, you just said accept the consequences of your actions. So wouldn't that also include if you kill someone and again you shot them in the back? I'm just playing out the whole Robert Ford thing, whatever. Um, should you still accept the consequences of your actions, that there's a 50-50 chance that you could go to prison? Minnesota says hard one to answer. Stinger says murder is justified in America if you have a lot of money. Okay, but I'm not talking about money. I'm just talking about the morals of what should or should not happen. I don't want to talk about the government. I don't want to talk about money or whatever. I'm asking you if you were on the jury. Okay, and Scooter says, I think you're misconstruing the Western Code of Ethics. Okay, so Scooter, if I'm on the wrong track, then you tell me. Because because I've looked into the laws of the old West and the things that they did, and literally, um, if you stole someone's horse, which is like stealing someone's car, that was a hanging offense. I mean, that was just something that you just don't do. You don't steal someone else's horse. Um, but again, you did have the justice of where if you were to kill someone, um, if they, and it was that if they drew on you first and you killed them, more than likely you would walk away. So I can't type that fast. Okay, you were hanged. So and I'm assuming you're talking about the whole horse thief thing. So, um, tell me what I'm in terms of the code of ethics. Tell me what I'm getting wrong. Because I know there are things. I do get things wrong. Scooter says, "Yeah, don't touch my horse." D says, "Jack Ruby murdered Lee Harvey Oswald. It was said people cheered. He was charged with murder." Okay, so D, that's what I'm saying. Um, Lee Harvey Oswald killed, and I'm not even going to say he was the president, whatever, because I think a life is a life. I think if you killed the president or you kill someone's neighbor, one life is not more um is you know does not have more significance than another. Life is life. So you have Jack Ruby who killed someone who people, you know, he did it. Lee Harvey Oswald did kill Kennedy. Okay. Um, and then you have Jack Ruby come and kill Lee Harvey Oswald. Um, should have he been charged? But 150 years earlier in the Old West, if Jack Ruby had killed Oswald and people cheered, um, Oswald may have had to go to the sheriff's office, but would he have walked out a free man? Okay. Gay says everyone's definition of justice is different. So I want to know then. Let me ask this. So let's go back to the horse thing. You steal my horse? You did get hanged. That was a offense. So should it be like that now with everybody stealing cars and one of those things that they're taking off of cars now? I mean, if you steal my car, should that be a hanging offense? Should that be something that you steal a car, you automatically get the death penalty? And I don't mean get the death penalty like here in California where you sit here for 30 years and then you die of natural causes. I'm talking about you get the death penalty, bang, bang, and you're gone, or however. Okay, Scooter says I'm still mixing issues. So, Scooter, you want to come up and tell me what I'm mixing, because I don't think that I am. I am asking you if, and I'm going to use the example of Lee Harvey. Okay, so Scooter's here. So set me straight, Scooter.
What are we talking about? I'm first-time caller, long-time listener, love your program. I've got a John Deere 4430. Oh, sorry, wrong show.
Oh, Scooter, love you. So tell me what I'm getting wrong.
Well, there's a whole bunch of issues there. All right. When Jack Ruby shot Oswald, it was not 100% deal that Oswald was guilty.
Okay.
And it took a long time, and there's still speculation about other people being involved. You want to go down the conspiracy road, I mean, there's a lot of room for conspiracy. Jack Ruby took away closure for the United States of America, where it could have been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that Lee Harvey pulled the trigger and killed John Fitzgerald Kennedy. But Ruby took that away from us. So he was charged, and that's a completely different issue than stealing my horse.
Okay, so let's say that Lee Harvey Oswald went. Let me put it like this. What if it were Sirhan, who everyone saw kill Robert Kennedy?
Robert, yes.
Okay, so Lee Harvey Oswald. Sirhan. Everyone saw. All these people were there. Saw this man kill Robert Kennedy. So if I came up and then I killed Sirhan, should I be justified because this man just assassinated another person?
Okay, so here's the deal. When Sirhan walked into that crowd in the basement in the hotel there in Los Angeles, he had a gun in his hand. Mm-hmm. When they tackled him, he had a gun in his hand. They would have been justified to pull out their weapon and shoot him. That would be because he was a clear and present threat. He had a weapon in his hand. Instead, they just beat him.
Okay, but when you say they, you're talking about Secret Service?
I'm talking about whoever was standing close to him.
Okay. So again, I'm asking if everyone knew for a fact that Sirhan killed this other person. Yep. Am I justified? Let's just say Sirhan, I also pull out a gun or I get a knife because they were going through the kitchen, whatever, and I stab Sirhan in the back. Am I justified to kill this man?
See, there again, future president of the United States, you take away the individual from that killed the future president, and you rob the country from healing. Sirhan was taken down by.
Okay, then let's get away from the presidents and the popes and everything like this. Let's just say in the same situation, it was Joe Blow who was killed by Joe Wynn, whatever, and here I come, I stab Joe Wynn in the back. Am I justified for doing that?
If he's holding a gun in his hand and he's still a threat, you're certainly more than justified in doing that.
Okay,
If they take him down, if you do a Jack Ruby on him, if they put him in handcuffs and they're walking him away and you run up behind him because you can't control your anger and you shove a knife into his back around his kidneys and you give him a long, slow, painful death, then you're not justified.
Okay, so this is where I want to go back to the Old West thing. So if we were in the Old West,
I'm still there.
We were with your horse. If we were in the Old West, would Jack Ruby, would he be considered a hero, or would the person, if you kill someone and then I killed you, but I did it, I shot you in the back or I stabbed you in the back, is that being a coward? Would I still be considered a hero because I took out this person that killed someone else?
In the Old West, you'd be a coward because if in the Old West and the New West and all the West that I see out here, because give me land, lots of land, under starry skies above, don't fence me in. The creed is that you look a person in their eyes when you either take their life or you punish them to any extent. You don't do it from behind. People need to know why they're being killed, why they're being punished. That's what we have a lot of not going on in this world. Nobody knows why they're being canceled or punished because nobody steps up and says, you did this wrong. You've been found wanting, guilty by a jury of your peers or for whatever reason. There's no accountability.
So if we were in the Old West, do you think there was, do you think people paid for their actions more so back then or less?
They did, and they did it immediately. So maybe some of it was a little bit of the wild, wild west.
Right.
So laws didn't, right and wrong came into it. Morals, integrity were more on the surface of life.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So if we were to treat what people are doing now the way they did back then, do you think things would be different?
Oh, I think it would be. It's like corporal punishment. Solid Blue, you went to school about the same time I did. They still had corporal punishment in the schools. Do you remember that?
I most certainly do. And I also remember when all of a sudden it was like, oh no, when timeout came, came up. And I was like, what the hell is timeout?
Exactly.
So this is what I'm saying. So if we did something where we treated crimes and criminals the way they did in the Old West, would things be different? And in terms of the coward part, maybe people wouldn't just go up and sucker punch someone or shoot someone when they weren't looking, or you're walking down the street and you grab someone or whatever. If you knew what the repercussions were and what the consequences were, and like you said, they did it right then and there. It's like you got in trouble, boom, boom, and that's it. People would not do the things that they're doing now.
I think you're right. I don't think they would. I think people would stop and think about the repercussions or the consequences of their actions. And you wouldn't see people, young kids, walking up to old people in fast food joints and just sucker punching them for no reason. And then stealing their money, or little old Asian women on the streets of New York getting hit for no reason because they looked at somebody funny. But here's the thing. Big thing on Twitter and TikTok, the boyfriend who tried to break into the home of the ex-girlfriend and the dad shot him. Do you agree with that? Do you know what I'm talking about? First off,
first of all, is that the one where no, this is something else. So you're saying the boyfriend broke into the
Was
house of the
trying, yeah, ex-boyfriend, couple broke up, 20-something-year-old kid, uh, came to the home of the girlfriend, the father's home where the girlfriend lived, and was trying to break through the front door. Father told him to stop, warned him to stop, told him he had a gun, shot him 5 times. Kid died on the driveway at the father's house. Do you agree that that was right or wrong?
I agree that was right, especially if I'm telling
Yeah.
you and I'm warning you, you need to stop, and you're going to be stupid. And even if you fake, even if you're faking and you really don't have a gun, but I'm going to have
Yeah.
to assume that you do because you're telling me you have one. I'm going to stop and I'm going to go away.
But see,
Welcome,
here's the
John
thing.
Gale.
If more people, John's here. I got to go. Sorry. See you. Love you. You're great. I didn't know he was coming to this program today. Um, anyway, if we had more people thinking that other people may have a way to defend themselves and others, then perhaps you might not see as much rampant, unwarranted violence in the streets.
Okay, so I want to go back to the school and the teachers thing then. If
Uh oh.
you give teachers a gun, and I know it's not
Uh-huh.
a mandatory thing, they choose to do it, and you have these teachers with guns, and for, like I said, for whatever reason, they freeze up, they're not able to shoot, whatever. Um, should those teachers be considered cowards? And would you recommend that, okay, Solid couldn't shoot this time, so maybe she won't be able to shoot next time, maybe we should take that gun away, or should I be able to keep that gun because maybe hopefully it doesn't happen again, but if I were in that situation again, maybe just maybe Solid will use that gun.
Wow. Okay. Generally, for the most part, anybody that owns a firearm will do their due diligence. They'll learn how to take care of it. They'll learn how to shoot it. And they'll also understand the importance of taking a life. And I don't think you can't judge somebody for what they're going to do. In the military, people freeze up. People can't pull the trigger and kill the enemy, even though the enemy is trying to kill you. That happens all over the place. They're
Mm-hmm.
not always considered cowards. When if you're Bo Bergdahl and you run away and give yourself up to the enemy, and then 15 people die trying to get you back because you went AWOL, uh, you are a coward. So it's hard to lay a generalization of who is a coward and who's not. If a teacher has a gun and they are in the classroom and somebody like the Uvalde killer tries to break in, or the Sandy Hook uh, guy comes through the door, and if they are not able to fire that weapon, I don't know if I'm going to hold anything against them, and I don't know that anybody else should, but invariably somebody will. You'll have
Okay,
an Alex Jones calling him a coward.
okay, so Scooter, I'm going to throw this one at you. So um where is Brina said? She says, I don't like the idea of making our teachers stay strapped. They have enough to deal with. So, taking what you said about the military,
Yeah.
let's say that, technically as a teacher, your job is to teach. Your job is to teach, and over the years, with everything that's going on with these shootings and everything, you
Uh
know,
huh.
it's just turned into so much more.
Yeah.
Let's say that this shooter comes into the school, and again, that teacher freezes up, and let's say they just ran. They didn't take care of the kids. They just
Okay.
ran
Okay.
because they they were scared. I mean, human emotions, whatever. They were scared.
Yeah.
Number one, do you consider that teacher a coward because they ran? And number two, should that teacher, again, you're in this high stressful thing, fly guns are shooting, whatever. Is it? I'm serious. Is it the teacher's responsibility? And again, they're not a law enforcement. They're not a security guard. If that teacher were to run and did not take care of those kids, are you going to hold that teacher? Like, oh my God, this if she or he was a coward.
Okay, so you are bringing up an improbable scenario because,
Really?
yeah, you're not just going to throw a 38 snub nose revolver at a teacher and say, here, put this in your purse. If anything happens, you know what to do. They're going to be trained. If they carry their own weapon, then chances are they're going to be very well trained. Uh, but there again, in that situation, unless you are in the situation, there's really no way to judge what's going on. What if the person ran because the gun jammed and wouldn't fire, and the person didn't know what else to do? I mean, you've got three human emotions that are basic to the brain when you come into a conflict. You're going to run, you're going to fight, or you're going to freeze. Those are the only three things that go through your brain when you are in a conflict situation.
Right. So okay. So having said that, and you even said that the teacher is going to be trained and they're going to know how to fire a gun. You could be
Yep.
trained all you want to, just like you said that you can go to war, whatever, and you're trained, whatever. But
Uh-huh.
in that situation, you don't know what you're going to do. So you can have all the training in the world, but if you freeze up and you turn tail and run, I mean, again, you know.
That's okay. So if you turn tail and run, think about it. Solid, you're in the classroom. You've got 32 young minds, young souls in that classroom with you, under the age of 8 years old. You're teaching second or third grade. All right. And you have, gosh, see, that's the bad part about getting old because my thoughts just go wandering off and then get on back of a horse and they ride off. But you're charged with protecting those children. So if a fight breaks out in between those children, what are you going to do? Are you going to freeze up and run away?
Okay, but if a fight breaks out in front of you, whatever, and usually it'll be
Right?
pushing and shoving, I can deal with pushing and shoving. But when it gets to where it's another level where you're talking about someone is shooting, and you hear possibly screaming and all this other stuff, I think
Yeah.
that on a human level, your psyche goes to another level.
Well, it does. It goes to run, fight, or freeze. That's the only places your brain goes to when you approach a situation that's that energized and charged. So those are your three choices. You're going to make a choice of one of those three. But the thing is, I mean, the names that you can call people after the fact, think about what their own brain's doing to them if they decided
Hmm.
to run.
Hmm.
I, their punishment will, for themselves, will more than likely be far more difficult and hard to live with than anything that I might say to them.
Okay.
So I'm just saying,
Now,
you can't rush to judgment on anything or anyone because you don't know the circumstances.
okay. And what about what John says? He says muscle memory from practice, and he also says you are really old. So
Gail, you better cut it out. I know where you live.
okay,
Anyway,
and I
no,
also
I
want to
mean,
wait. Hold on, because I also want to ask you about what Angie says. She says I totally understand, but why does it become the teacher's responsibility to police? I would lay down my life for any kid in our school, but I will not carry a gun. So, what do you think about that?
I think that's fine. I don't think teachers should be compelled to carry weapons or coaches or anybody or administrative folks. I think our schools should be safe. I think people should follow the laws because it's a law that you're not allowed to carry a weapon into a school. So let's follow the laws and everything will be fine. Why
So,
not follow the laws?
no, and you're 100%. You're 100% right. I mean, we follow the laws
Okay.
in everything. So, do you think that again? Let's take the school shooting
Okay.
and put it back with. Jesse James, everybody in the Old West,
Right.
do you think that they would happen if we were back then?
No, they didn't happen back then. And people came into schools to shoot them up. Here in the lovely Indian Territory in Middle America, we had these little schools called Indian schools.
Mm-hmm.
And you go back in history, there's not a lot published about it, but people came into those schools to kill the children because warring factions of other tribes didn't want the Osage or the Creek or the Cherokee to become intelligent and ruin their good lifestyle of living on a reservation. So that happened, not a lot, but it happened. But back then, the teachers and the administrators were carrying guns, so it didn't go very far.
So you're saying that if I'm just saying Jesse James only because his name's in front of my face right now. So Jesse James goes into the school to shoot up the school.
Yep.
The teacher, more than likely, like you said, had a gun and would either stop Jesse dead in his tracks, literally, or
Yep.
Jesse knew
Or
I better not come in here because more than likely I'm going to get shot.
Right. That is the code of the West, and the teacher would be looking at Jesse when he did it. And I love Jesse James and I love Frank James, but they were no heroes. They were not good people.
No, they weren't. They were bad people. They were bad
people. They were good robbers, but they were not good people. They tried to clean their acts up at the end, and actually, Frank James did live a long and healthy life and contributed to society. He reformed himself.
Okay.
But that's a whole different thing. But no, you don't hit somebody from behind. You do it from the front. You let them know why you're going to hit them, why you're going to shoot them. I mean, we don't have enough of that going on. We don't tell people when they're doing things wrong. We just shy back, pull out the camera, and start filming for TikTok when people start doing stupid things.
And I am glad you brought this up because I'm going to end the show with that. Yes, guys, I said it. I'm doing an hour only. I am back to my hour format. So, so with the whole thing with people filming, okay. Now, if you look at some of the comments and whatever, when people are filming, they'll say, "Oh, this person could have been helping, but instead they were filming, whatever." What do you think about that? Because on one hand, filming is important, but then on the other hand, it's like, well, this person is getting their butt beat or, they're potentially getting shot or whatever. Should you be helping instead of filming? So what do you think about that whole thing?
I think
And is the person filming, do you consider them cowards?
I consider them liable and cowards. It's all social media's fault. It's Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat's fault.
So you're saying that because it's giving these people a platform, or you don't think that filming is necessary for certain things?
I don't think filming's necessary at all. If we follow the rules, you don't need filming.
Okay, so that porch pirate, who they could care less now, porch pirate would look directly into the camera and still take your stuff.
Exactly.
So
follow the rules. Don't steal from other people. It's real simple, folks. Work hard, earn your own things, buy your own Amazon stuff, and leave other people's things alone.
So, and Danny Hoff, welcome. I don't think I welcome you. I am so sorry. So I'm just going again with the porch pirate thing. You had Ring cameras back in the Old West. Okay. Would we have had these porch pirates back in the Old West? I know, and let's say Amazon was there. Okay, back in the Old West, would we have had porch pirates? Because people would have been taking out their 6-shooters or their shotguns, whatever. And as soon as you touch that package, kaboom! You were gone. So, if porch pirates knew that something like that could happen to them, in today's world, would it stop? And I'm not, and guys, I'm really not trying to be funny or anything. I am being totally serious.
Well, what do you think, Solid?
I
Do you think it
I
would stop if on the other side of that doorway you take that package that doesn't belong to you and you get 12 gauge buckshot coming at you? You think
yeah,
that
I
would
do.
that would make people think it? Yeah.
Yes, yes, I most absolutely do. And I think that we do need to have the code of the old west, because just some people are, like I said, these porch pirates, they will look directly at your camera and say, okay, whatever. And not only will they take your stuff, sometimes depending upon how many packages you have, because when I look at some of my neighbors, and you can go and you can look at the stuff that they post, whatever. It's like people will take your stuff, and depending upon how many packages you have, they'll go to their car, put that first package, then they'll come back for the rest of it. It's like you even have the nerve to come back and get the rest of it, and that's it. So if you
Well,
knew, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you even see these idiot porch pirates out there. They'll get something bad from somebody else, like baby formula or something that they can't sell for millions of dollars, and they'll drop that package and pick up yours and take them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
Yeah,
it is out of
yeah.
hand. Follow the rules.
And don't say I'm with you, Blue. More shooting of porch pirates. And okay, well, guys, I know I didn't get to everyone's comments. I usually try to read everyone. Oh, Scooter, are you going to play? You can give me a tune to end the show with. So go ahead.
I'm just playing the out music for you. You go ahead. You
Okay.
love on
Well,
everybody and
all right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for coming. John, thank you for popping in. And Daddy Hop, again, I'm sorry I did not greet you when you came in. And Angie, everyone here, Juju, Minnesota, thank you so much. Frankie, Shelby, and tomorrow will be another show, another day. And Power Girl, Frankie, everyone. And Scooter has taken us out. So enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are in the world. Go where the wind takes you, and I hope to see you tomorrow. And on that note, I'm going to let Scooter play a little bit more, and then I'm going to end the show. Thank you, Scooter. On that note, everyone, enjoy the rest of your day, and bye.